Well, lived to be 98 years old. Never had to buy another drink. So we can be old farts too. And get ornery. Ornery, you don't have to be young. You can be ornery and old. But I don't know, I think I've quite a while up here, but basically we teach marksmanship, how to shoot 4 MOA group out to 500 yards so that you get a chest-sized shot, 20 inches at 500, and a headshot at 250. And we're looking for instructors. If you qualify as a rifleman with a score of 210, we ask if you could come assist us. If you know of any other locations in the state of Texas where we could throw another 1 or 2 AppleSeeds, because Texas is a big state. A lot of people won't come because they say, oh, I have traveled too far. Well, I don't know. I traveled up to North Carolina and taught a boot camp up there in February. I've been up there 4 times already. I've been to Ohio.
My backyard's available.
But we need a lot more people. We need a lot more instructors. And if you could, we would really appreciate it. Come and join us and help to defend America and help to defend yourself. You can't defend yourself unless you have the tools. You can have a rifle and all the ammunition in the world, but if you can't hit anything, might as well use firecrackers, guys, because that's all you're doing is making noise. Yes?
How does this compare with the, many years ago we had what we called a hunter safety course. It was primarily to teach the youngsters of America how to safely handle a rifle and how to use it.
Well, we teach,
are you familiar with that?
Yeah. Before you ever even take your rifle down to the range, we have a safety meeting and teach you safety precautions. Everyone becomes a safety officer. You watch the people around you, make sure no one sweeps. The muzzle's always pointed in the safe direction. Your magazine's out. Your rifle's on safe. You have a flag. Yes?
Do you have a limit on caliber?
No, you can do 22. A lot of people have switched over to 22s. When I went through, we were 308s. The smallest one was a 223, which is a 50 cal? No. No. You go through everything that we have there. We have a berm. Your 50 cal will go through the berm. It was designed to go through tanks, so that's why I like it. Now, 22 is less expensive. By the way, it's something like $250 or $350 a round for 50 cal, or something like that.
I'm not sure.
We went down to 22s. If you take a Ruger 1022 that has a box magazine, we suggest the box magazine because we have stages 2 and 3. You have to change magazines. It's part of it. We time you and you have to change your magazines. And with a box magazine, it's a lot easier than when you've got one of these stick magazines. You've got to pull it out, pull it, pop. Heavy magazines, load it, pop them in, fire. 1022, Ruby 1022 works. Back up something like a 308, a 223. An AR-15 would be a 223. 308 would be an M1A. You can use an M1 Garand, which is 30-06. Any of those for the longer distances, because if you score 210, and early enough, we'll take you out to full distance, and you can see that your actual zero works at full distance. As a matter of fact, it's easier to hit the targets at full distance than it is when shooting at these things. But 2 rifles, 22, and a center fire would be more than adequate for the needs. Everyone's zero is going to be different. The M1 and the M1 Garand, and the M1A have the same sighting system, and it's sighted in clicks. Each click is an MOA. So when you go up or down, you're going to go up 1 inch or down 1 inch on the target. Left or right, you're going to go 1 inch left or 1 inch right, depending upon the clicks. With the M1 and the M1 M1A. With the 223, the AR-15, I forget what it is. It's not quite an MOA. We adjust accordingly. But we'll adjust any rifle. We have people coming up with Egyptian rifles, bolt actions that are actually able to do this stuff, and it's timed. The first stage, which is the biggest target, you have 2 minutes to shoot it. 2 minutes to shoot it is in an offhand position with 1 10-round magazine. The second stage, which is the smaller targets down here, you've got 2 of them. You're going to have a magazine change in the stage 2. You're going to have the first magazine with 2 rounds, the second magazine that has 8 rounds. You fire the first magazine. A lot of people will fire 2 rounds into this thing, pop that 8-round magazine in, cock it back, and then start shooting. You've got to put a total of 5 rounds. That means you've got to put 3 more rounds in this one, and then the last 5 in this one. When you fire your first round, pop out your magazine because your rifle has already cycled that round into the chamber. Your magazine is now empty. Pop the next magazine in. You won't have to cock back, and you'll be saving yourself a second. And that second could mean you get all your rounds in because you're going to have this stage right here. You're going to be going from standing to sitting or kneeling. You've got to get all 10 rounds with a magazine change in 50 seconds. Okay? Down here, you're going to be doing the same. 2 magazines, 2 rounds and 8 rounds. You're going to be going from standing down to a prone position. From standing to a prone position. When you fire, again, 2 rounds in the first one. We don't want to do that. We want to fire 1 round. Change the magazine, it's empty. Put the 8 rounds in. Now fire. You don't have to cock back. You save yourself another second, second and a half. You're going to be putting in 3, 3, and 4. So that you have a total of 10 rounds. You're going to shift your NPOA, your natural point of aim, as you're shooting. Down at the bottom, you can stay in a prone position. You got 1 magazine with 10 rounds. Take your time. You got 5 minutes. I mean, take your time. Get the best score that you can possibly get because the scores down here are double what everything else is. Whatever you get for a score down here, you multiply it by 2 to get your final score. So that's how the AQT works. You learn history all through the weekend. We repeat it over and over and over. We repeat the safety rules over and over and over. We repeat 6 steps on firing a shot. You go with 6 basic steps. Sight alignment. That's where you get the front sight and the rear sight lined up. Sight picture is where you take that lined up sight and put it on target. We like the 6 o'clock point. Some people like center of mass. If you shoot center of mass when you get to smaller targets, you won't be able to see the target because your front sight at further distances, your front sight will cover your target. You want to be slightly below it so you can see your target. So we recommend the 6 o'clock hole. What was I just saying? All of that.
6 points.
Better living, few chemicals. Oh yeah. Step 2, sight picture. Step 3. Step 3 is respiratory pause. You're breathing. When you breathe in, you breathe out. Your muzzle's going to go up and down. You're going to reach the point where you're right on target. You stop breathing. You pause. You've got 3 to 5 seconds to squeeze off that round before your mind starts to get oxygen deprived. Go maybe up to 10 seconds. Take another breath if you don't squeeze it off by then. Take a couple of breaths and then squeeze it off. That's stage 3. Stage 4 is two sections to it. 4A is to focus your eyesight on the front sight, not on the target, on the front sight. The target is going to seem blurry. The front sight should be crystal clear. You will find your grooves getting tighter. You get more accuracy by doing it that way. 4B is to focus your mind on keeping that front sight post on target. 5 is trigger squeeze. Squeeze the trigger straight back. 6 is also 2 parts to 6. Take a mental photograph of where that front sight post was at the instant the hammer fell and the round fired. Take an instant snapshot, because if your front post is off and you see it off and it goes bang and there's a round there, there's a hole there, then you're accurate. You just didn't get it where you wanted it. It went where you pointed it. And B is to hold the trigger to the rear for at least the count of 1, because it takes a finite amount of time for that bullet to exit the muzzle. A lot of people, when they hear the bang, they let the finger fly off. When the finger flies off, it moves the muzzle, and the round goes somewhere else. You can't find it on paper. So hold the finger back. Those 6 steps will help you to shoot better and save your ammo for when you really need it. One other thing. This was the era of enlightenment. And they used a lot of information, a lot of writings of John Locke, 1600s. John Locke said, whosoever uses force against, whosoever uses force against those who all of a sudden draw a blank, chemicals again. Later, when I get to that. But it works. Thank you. You take your time.
Doug, would you like to take a break and let everybody take a break?
Sure.
And what I'd like to do myself, I've got a question of how far is 300, 400, 500 yards? Take a break outside, and you know those distances about how far that is. You know, start seeing 500 yards is out there too.
Well, if you